racing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
Nashville at the Nashville Fairgrounds. We are talking about the wonderful short track oval that they have here, not the super speedway. But for Ghostfire Media, I'm Josh Laston. With me this week for the North-South Racing League, as always, is Mr. Adam Wood. Adam, how you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. It's a great night here. Great weather. The track, its temperature is very cool for these guys. A lot of grip on the track, and we're back to, I'd say this is more short track, but kind of almost intermediate for these guys.
Yeah, I actually popped into the practice session yesterday to kind of get a feel for how this track is. It's not something that I'm overly familiar with, especially in these cars, as we're seeing a whole lot of carnage going on in the background while we're talking about this. There's not really a need for brakes. It's just lifting, so it does kind of have the telltale intermediate brake if you want to kind of save the tires a little bit, but it's not really needed.
Yeah, these guys are gonna have a lot on their hands though. I mean, this track is very bumpy, and with the body roll of this car coming off the corner, it sends this car like wants to kind of loop around on them. So I mean, they're gonna have to, go between that fine line of speed versus stability coming off these corners.
And it's gonna create a lot of interesting racing. And we're seeing a lot of guys looping it coming out of the corners. We're seeing a lot of guys, I don't know if they're just having fun right now, creating a little chaos, which I'm okay with. But one thing that we need to keep in mind is, yes, it's a very bumpy track, but this is also one of those tracks like a Rockingham that to get the banking on the inside, it's actually below grade for the rest of the track, so there's a hump coming out onto the straightaways, which can unsettle these cars quickly.
Yeah, you gotta worry about that a lot for these drivers. I mean, running 2x2 coming out of the corners here, they're gonna have a lot of speed built up, and they're practicing right now as if they have the most beneficial line of coming to the outside wall, carrying all that speed. Whenever you got somebody on the outside of you, trying to make that same move is going to take a little bit more and could upset the car too much.
Well, it's always a possibility, and luckily this track has enough banking, and I've seen it in other races that I've done here. Most of the time I've spent here has actually been in the trucks, but the second lane can come in. It is very possible. But it takes a while for the track to evolve and be able to really pull that off. But we don't know. It could end up being that way. It could turn into a single line, but we've seen these guys take some of those tracks that should only be single line and give us some good side-by-side action.
I've had it in a different car here. Where the middle line was where everybody stayed at. They didn't want to stay at the very bottom hook in the very bottom line. They want to be at the middle line, and that kind of takes away the guy behind them anyway, because the middle line kind of give you that preferred groove coming off the track versus on the track, and then you have you know, the guys who try to run the outside line around the guy running middle groove. It's just not alleviating them. So you know, these guys. Watching these guys, sorry, they're confusing me. They're running the inside of Nashville Fairgrounds right now through pit road.
I mean, but that's just generally how it is. Everybody, at some point or another, you gotta explore which tracks you're gonna be capable of doing that with. And I won't lie, I was doing it at Martinsville last night. It's running the infield road course as these guys are just having fun.
So that's what my car looked like last night at the end of practice. Every time I got in the car, it would throw my car up onto the pit wall, and I couldn't get off of it for the last like 5 minutes of practice at Martinsville. So it was kind of weird.
All right, as we've got 1 more minute of practice left, there's a little bit of a special cause for tonight's race. Unfortunately, it was recently discovered that one of the racers in the North-South Racing League, Jared Apel, his nephew Cameron was actually diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia and actually underwent surgery today for a bone marrow transplant. So we So just before we get started for the night, put that one out there. And now let's get to racing.
And if you want to donate or have any more questions or issues about this, reach out to one of us, or we'll get you in contact with the North-South Racing League admins, and we'll get you hooked up with a address and all the information that you can send these items to.
Exactly. And we have our first laps taken away in qualifying. Sorry for the quick transition there. And we're starting to see all of the laps get themselves officially through timing and scoring. First one to set a lap was Adam Gable. He has himself up into 5th, and he's slowly moving himself down. Right now, Travis Hoffler, we go to him right as he's slamming into a wall, is our current pole sitter, and he is supplanted by both Matt Dula and Will Eastman. And Adam, I just realized it's Will Eastman's paint scheme that I thought was Dante Curtis.
Yeah, I mean, Dante has a little bit more gold versus the yellowness in the Will Eastman, but very similar design.
And as we say that, he's sporting this dark black 03 tonight. We'll watch him on his out lap, but I'm going to actually take a quick look. And DJ Weltmeyer is a new name
Yeah, I saw
for
his name, and he's
tonight.
up in the fourth right now. So he's coming through, and he's gonna spin out here, coming out turn 4.
And ends up making a little bit of a mistake, but he's still in fourth right now. And the big thing is tonight's. And Dante Curtis has put himself in first and into the wall. So Ryan Johnson, the current points leader for the North-South Racing League, is
Slide
coming out of turn 3 and 4, getting a little sideways. He's in second. And that's what these guys are going to have to do for some qualifying laps tonight. You got to be brave. And this is another new name for the night, Josh Ackard in the 04, currently in 18th, looking to try to set himself another a little bit faster of a laps. Currently now in 19th as Robbie Clavey in the 73, also looking like he's running a new paint for the night. And that is going to put him, he's currently in 18th, coming across the line and is not able to improve. But we've got the 51 of Jared Apel out there on track trying to get a good lap in, currently sitting in second, getting a little sideways, coming out of 4 and not able to improve. But Bryan Hacker is going to try to supplant him, get himself up out of 3rd place, but that is not going to do it. The 21 Jeff Bergener looked like he was about to set another one, but apparently no. So right now, the only person left to put in some laps is Mr. Jeff Mathis, who's making his way out onto track and trying to set a lap. No one else is there. We've got 23 racing tonight. Not quite what we would like to see because, actually, you know what? The group that we have puts on some fantastic racing, so I don't care how many people there are as long as they keep the racing good.
Yeah, right now they've been very well. And I think tonight this is going to put on a heck of a show here at Nashville Fairgrounds. These guys are going to have to, abide by the bumps here and get used to that, running side by side on these restarts. So I think that's going to be the biggest part. But I think once they get kind of nose to tail, everything's going to work out in their favor, and it's going to put on a heck of a show for everybody here tonight.
And that's the end of qualifying. So it looks like we've got another 5 minutes worth of a warm-up. So we're going to go ahead and take a moment to get a little bit from our sponsors for the North-South Racing League.
Cross Collision and Body is located in Minerva, Ohio, and specializes in returning your car back to its pre-accident condition. They work with all insurance companies to fix your car the correct way. For scheduling and questions, please visit their Facebook page or call the shop at 330-868-6011. J&G Hardwood Flooring is a small family-owned business which started in 2005, located in Christiana, Tennessee, and serves all of Middle Tennessee. Owners Josh and Brandon Klaczynski have a combined 35 years of experience to serve all of your flooring needs, from new construction, remodels, or even small repairs. For estimates and scheduling, call 615-904-2218.
And we are back. Just right now, apparently, the most exciting man out on track, according to iRacing's algorithms, that sometimes I just let it take over for me. Bryan Hacker, who's the second fastest man out on track. Getting to see him back in his normal blue and gold. And looking to see if he can get that win in tonight.
And they're sitting there practicing the green flag pit stop here.
Well, it's green flag pit stop plus the
And
infield.
have a little bit of fun.
As, oh, he resets on me. I was hoping to see somebody try to jump once again, but
Yeah, I was watching Shane Loveridge. Shane Loveridge was able to clear the whole entire podium and got launched to the other side there right as the practice ended. He was able to clear it.
all right, we're getting to see a little bit of what we could probably expect. And honestly, right there, Jordan Madron tagging the wall just a little bit there. I feel like we're going to see a reasonable amount of that tonight, even though I don't think it's going to be that much.
I mean, the way these cars come off the corner, it just slings them up off the corner right towards the wall. So, I mean, these guys are going to have to, like I said, it's a fine line of keeping that full momentum and speed up versus smacking the outside wall and losing it.
Well, and we're seeing it's a little crumpled, but he's still moving pretty well.
I mean, these things are built like a tank, though. I mean, you really have to do what he's about to do right now and just do that to die. But he's still going.
And it sounds kind of bad, but these are some poor man's race cars, to where these are meant for your everyday average like driveway mechanic to be able to get a race car out there, to where you aren't going to need to rebuild the frame every week. You may have to replace a body panel or two, but yeah, they're designed to be able to take a beating.
Yeah, I mean,
These aren't your carbon fiber body panels that you see on the Cup cars now.
composite. It's the only thing you hear the Fox announcer saying. They got the better composite bodies. Can't stop saying it.
Composite is the way of saying carbon fiber.
But so we have quite a few viewers out there. So who are you guys rooting for? We got Kathy Joe out there saying woohoo to DJ, and then we got so who are you watching? Who are you rooting for tonight? Let us know in the comment section.
I mean, we've got one person out there that's rooting for you to smack into walls, but you aren't racing tonight. And isn't he your teammate? Aren't you supposed to be nice to your teammates?
Well, the more I hit the walls, the more that he can extend his points lead.
I guess that's true. Well, first attempt. Nope, nope, nope. Here goes.
He made it over with extra help.
Jared Apel makes it with a little extra help. And it's almost like they were
Randy
planning
Nichols,
this.
Ryan Johnson,
And
Mathis.
just happened to be watching. I'm enjoying the little bits of entertainment that they've been giving us at the end of the session. So let's take a quick look and run through our starting grid for the night. Our top qualifier was Dante Curtis. Second was Jared Apel. Third, Bryan Hacker. Fourth, Ryan Johnson. Fifth, Jeff Bergener. Sixth, Will Eastman. Seventh, Matt Dula. Eighth, Travis Hoffler. Ninth is DJ Weltmeyer. 10th, Dustin Shepard. 11th, Cody Hubrid. And 12th is Devin Rogers. And I intentionally went to that because our invert for tonight is the top 12. So Devin Rogers is going to get to start from the inside of the front row.
All right, Gary Eschen's going to be 13th. Justin Rigsby is 14th. 15th is a Matt Cook. 16th is going to be Jordan Madron. 17th is Shane Loveridge. 18th will be Jonathan Cross. 19th will be Adam Gable. 20th will be Robbie Clavey. 21st is Randy Nichols. 22nd is Jeff Mathis. And rounding up top 23 is going to be Josh Hacker.
All right.
Will Eastman will be getting the EOL tonight for winning last week. So he'll be going to the end of the field.
And honestly, again, best DOL you could ever get.
Yeah. But yeah, these guys are going to have some fun tonight. We got April Orth out there saying good luck to everybody on Tiny Horse. And Marshall Ship says, go Jordan, number 68. So we got some good fans out there tonight.
We do, and oh, again, I actually love going back and watching this the next day myself, just because, while it's fun to sit here and call it, it's also a lot of fun to go back and watch the racing as a fan, and this league just utterly fantastic racing throughout the field. But the lights on the pace truck are off, so we are getting to go racing, and Devin Rogers is going to lead us to the flag as we wait for that moment, and they're getting to the line. The flag waves, and they are off, and the 20 of Cody Hubert, that is actually the 30 of Cody Hubert, and apparently his paint doesn't match. But he gets a great run on the outside. We're going to get to see if that outside line is going to have anything to do, and it looks like we have a little bit of chaos towards the back right there as Jared Apel is running through pit lane and getting himself down. And we're still side by side up here at the front. And it looks like we may have a little bit of lap traffic already. It looks like that may be the 8 of Jeff Mathis. But it is still side by side for the lead. That 30 and 25, it says 20 on the car, it says 30 in iRacing.
But they're having a fantastic battle right now. It looks like he's slowly sliding back, but he's been holding his own for the first couple of laps here. Now, Dustin Shepard's going to be on the inside of him, coming down in turn 1. He's trying to keep his nose down there, trying to keep Cody up there, hung up on the outside. He does a great job of doing it. Ryan Johnson's sitting there behind him, though. He was trying to come in there, but looks like the 20's going to power forward in front of Dustin Shepard and solidify that second spot.
And we are going to see ourselves getting single file through the front here until we get back. And this is the battle for 6th place between DJ Weltmeyer and currently Bryan Hacker's looking. It looks like we may try to get 3 wide, but caution is out. And that's going to kind of put a little bit of a damper on these battles that we were starting to see at the tail end of the top 10. Let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, I forgot it doesn't auto-play since I restarted my computer. That's the 72 of Shane Loveridge. Just gets a little bit loose into the inside wall. And since that yellow line is so low there, still on that racing surface, and we're actually seeing the tail end of the field making their way into pit lane, to where this is a third of the field is coming in for what seems to be tires and fuel.
Yeah, they're coming in. I mean, if you got them, go ahead and use them. Starting in the back, run to the front. And then, well, I say that we got Gary Edwards out there. He's rooting Eastman from the rear. Will Eastman got the EOL for winning last week, so he's pulling from the rear. We got Kel Curtis is back with us tonight. He is going for Dante in the 03. Then we got Kathy Joe once again said, "Hello, Mr. Curtis." So they're having some good conversation there. I love it. The fans are interacting with each other.
I mean, it's always fun. It's even better when we're the one, everybody's interacting, everybody's having a good conversation, and I even like it when people make fun of Adam.
Yeah. Not when Justin makes fun of you, huh?
No, because I'm just ignoring that comment.
I would too.
But I honestly believe everybody that decided to pop into pit lane, it really is going to come down to where the fuel level is going to be.
I mean, I think if they do get a long run, maybe that few little laps might come into play here. But they got to get that long green flag run in to make those tires worth it.
So I'm thinking, and as I'm looking at my stats from running last night's practice as we come back to green, these guys may be able to push about 90 laps on a tank. So there's definitely going to be one stop as the 25 Devin Rogers gets himself out to a great jump, and the 89 of Dustin Shepard makes short work of getting himself up into second place. But what we're seeing is Ryan Johnson getting up to fourth right now. He is up 6 spots already in this race, and we're seeing Cody Hubrid. He's dropping ever so slightly, but Bryan Hacker's going to have his work cut out for him as we're starting to see a little more side-by-side action, and we're seeing the 20 of Travis Hoffler and Gary Eschen going side-by-side. Travis has the inside line, and that's going to be where we want to be, but Gary's making that outside line. He's making it look quite nice, and apparently there was a little bit of an issue from Travis.
That was a great recovery from DJ right there. DJ Weltmeyer loosened up in front of him. He made a little bit of jerk reaction to counteract it, and kind of got his car a little sideways, able to collect it. We stay green.
Oh, as we're seeing, it looked like Jeff Mathis just got a little bit loose towards the back of the field, and we're seeing a little bit of a checkup, and we're seeing a few cars disappearing. Maybe iRacing servers have been a little bit spotty as of recent, but we're getting it looks like we may try to get 3 wide, but as Jordan Madron goes low, and we got to get up to the front because Ryan Johnson gets the pass done on Devin Rogers. He's got that low line, and that's all he needs. And if I'm in Devin Rogers' position, I'm going to go ahead and check up that line, get myself exactly where he is, get in line, and hang on to as many positions as he can. But he's looking like he's thinking about the crossover on Ryan Johnson, and it may be feasible for him.
Ryan Johnson, he picked off Dustin Shepard there. He restarted, got himself up on third, then moved up to second by passing Dustin Shepard. So, I mean, he's figured this out just a little bit quicker than the other guys. And we see Cody Hubrid, he's making the pass on the outside. He drove on the outside of Dustin Shepard. He's trying to make it work.
And you know what? The more you can force these guys down to the low line, these tires, while the Hoosiers are pretty darn indestructible, the more you can force them onto the low line, force them to heat them up. Once they get too hot, they're impossible to cool down.
Yeah, I mean, I think the outside line's going to come in later in the run. I think you're going to be able to, that's the line you want to be at. Try to make the pass. That's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to say that it can be possible to do that.
And we're seeing everybody's getting a little bit patient to where we have the Incognito 20 followed up by the actual 20. I'm going to make fun of Cody's car all night for that, because I've done that far too many times, and that's why I stopped using custom numbers.
But we got Devin Rogers. Devin Rogers getting, is getting pressured a lot right now by Dustin Shepard and that number 89. He's sitting there waiting in the wings, I think, just waiting for Devin to make a little bit of a mistake. I mean, they're all nose to tail from second to probably about 10th there. They're just not even half a car length between every one of those cars all the way back.
So the one thing that could be said is, yes, we had the field invert tonight. Devin got the luckiest move. But one thing I can say about Devin Rogers is he has been in the conversation in the top 3 quite a bit throughout the course of the season, to where we know he's not slow by the fact that, well, now the yellow flag's out, but by the fact that we keep seeing him up here in at least the top 5. We know he's got the skill. Sometimes you just, okay, I'm one of them. I'm a terrible qualifier. But let's take a quick look.
This caution came out because he stopped on the track. He was trying to get off the track. He was blinking too much, it looks like. And yeah, he disconnected. His internet connection just went down. And
yeah,
brought up the caution.
It's unfortunate, but honestly, at the end of the day, he did the right thing. And
ooh, look at
that is a whole lot of pit lane traffic. Is literally everyone
from 5th on back pitted.
And our leader, Ryan Johnson, made his way in, and now we're seeing Dustin Shepard, Devin Rogers making their way in.
And the most horrible thing about this is you went from being in the top 5, now you're going to be in the top 15. Maybe.
Well, and again, we're only 25 laps in to 151. So these guys, it's gonna be probably one more stop, at least. Unless we keep getting cautions. That
yeah, if we go green, it'll be, I think, a one-stop race. And then it's just, when do you stop? You know, are you thinking there will be a later caution where you want to try to take tires later and just stay out the whole entire time, or do you want to cut it in half? There's so many different pit stop strategies if this race goes green from here.
And it's a short track, and I've made the comment about the Hoosiers being nearly impossible to cool down. There's one way to do it. It's a caution. And once they cool down, they don't wear out quickly. Yes, you can be faster, but cooling them down is more important. And as we are lights off on the pace truck, it is peeling off, and Gary Eschen is going to get to lead this pack to green. Jared Apel on his outside, and they are off early, and Jared Apel is staying alongside of Gary Eschen. Ryan Johnson is right there, and Matt Dula has made his way back up into the conversation for the night in the 17, but it looks like that lower line has formed up beautifully to where that is going to give Ryan Johnson the opportunity to get down below the 51, and as long as that 17 can get himself back up onto the bumper of the 3, they can just keep him up there and just watch him drop back. But Gary Eschen is taking advantage of having that clean air and getting himself all the way up completely clear, and about a third of a second on everyone else as Ryan Johnson clears the 51 of Jared Apel.
Yeah, Matt Dula right now is in the picture trying to clear him. Jared Apel stuck on the outside. Randy Nichols trying to now close up on the rear bumper. Matt Dula clears him. Looks like he almost is able to clear Randy Nichols, but did not. He runs wide here. Whenever he's able to kind of stick to the quarter panel, he does a really good job of staying with him. But sometimes he goes a little bit too wide, and that's when he really loses a spot. But he was able to drop down right in front of Matt Cook in the number 15.
And Matt Cook is having a fantastic run tonight. He is up 9 spots to get himself into 6th place. And that's a great run, but right now he's having to battle and try to keep that 20 of Travis Hoffler, and Ryan Johnson's looking like he's trying to make a move on Gary Eschen. May have gotten a little bit into the wall there, and Matt Dula is right there on him, waiting for another mistake, and Ryan Johnson gets himself down below the 23. That's going to put him on the inside line. He's going to be a little bit faster, and Ryan Johnson takes over the lead of this race once again. Matt Dula is right there on the bumper to make sure that Gary Eschen has no room to get himself back in. And that's all she wrote. It looks like Matt Dula is going to be able to get second, and Randy Nichols is going to do what he can to keep Gary Eschen on that outside line and get himself up into third.
Yeah, I mean, we got Gary Eschen. Gary Eschen's been doing a great job, but Ryan Johnson is showing his speed right now. He's able to get back up in front, and he is now gapping him. He's already pulled out to 0.3 of a lead right now, which is a lot here on this short track. And Matt Dula, though, is trying to reel him back in. He finally got clear of Will Eastman, Gary Eschen there. And he's able to start trying to now just focus in on the leader. Randy Nichols now is the one fighting, trying to get that third spot away from Gary Eschen at number 23.
And after that rough start, the 51 of Jared Apel is in the great position to where he can keep his nose down below Gary Eschen as he gets a little loose coming out of 2, but it was more Randy Nichols, and that's going to give Gary Eschen the opportunity to get himself down into that proper groove and get himself moving once again. But Jared Apel is getting a little bit of pressure from the outside as Travis Hoffler is looking like the man on a mission right now as Randy Nichols is trying to keep Gary Eschen at bay. But that's just not really working. But I'm going to jump back a little bit as we're seeing a side-by-side action. This is Cody Hubrid and Will Eastman, and this is the battle for 11th. And we're starting to see a whole lot of side-by-side throughout this field.
Jared Apel, he got a black flag and had to serve a pass-through penalty drive through of the pit road as we started. Was able to bounce back. He's now went from dead last, being almost a lap down, to running the top 7.
And he's under pressure right now from Dante Curtis in that black 03. But we're side by side with the exception of the top 3 and the top 10, to where these guys, they're checking up quite a bit. And you got to start thinking that these 2 or 4 on the outside lane, they've got to be just a little bit annoyed as the 20 gets himself clear. Dante Curtis is looking to be the next one to be able to do it. But these guys on the inside line, chances are they've overheated their tires. They have no grip. But Dante Curtis has managed to get himself pulled through onto the proper line. And now it's looking like Gary Eschen is possibly going to lose another position as Bryan Hacker has him on the outside. And Jared Apel is trying to push Gary all the way through to make sure that he doesn't lose any more positions. Now he's stuck on the low line. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, like I said, I think whenever the people who can really finesse this track and can get that outside to roll, see Jared Apel stuff it on the inside. I think this might be an easier route than trying to pass you on the outside, so he's going to do that. Put Gary Eschen to the outside, take him to the inside, and trying to get him clear and trying to run down Bryan Hacker.
As I'm going to go ahead and knock on the wood of my desk before I say this, we're getting a good long run here. We're getting a lot of great action as we go a little farther back in the field. Right now, Justin Rigsby is under pressure on the outside from Cody Hubrid. And we got a little more side by side as Adam Gable and John Cross are side by side. And they were catching up despite being 2 by 2. These guys are still racing hard. They're only roughly about 6 seconds off of the leader, to where no one's really going to be at fear of being lapped at this point outside of those who had a little bit of trouble early on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the lap times right now. I mean, everybody's running between a 20.51 to a 20.70 basically in the top 10. I think that's the farthest back, and about a 0.2 of a second split per lap. And I've been watching the race leaders constantly trying to make sure the battle doesn't change up there. But Matt Dula has not left the back bumper of Ryan Johnson. Matt Dula is staying with him stride for stride and hoping Ryan Johnson makes the mistake. But as we could see throughout this whole entire season, Ryan Johnson really doesn't make that many mistakes here. So Matt Dula's going to be waiting for a while if that's his hope.
And honestly, there's a reasonable chance that these two, it could absolutely be that Matt Dula is waiting for a mistake, which may just be 20% of what he's doing. But these two are just running perfectly clean lines. Just keep pulling away to where Randy Nichols is well over a second off of that bumper of Matt Dula as we go on to his bumper. And he's got quite the distance there. But just keep yourself clean, because the one car that we can actually see coming up quickly on Randy Nichols is that 03 of Dante Curtis, who's up 8 positions. And oh yeah, that's not something you want to see closing in on you.
I mean, we're getting a really good long run here. Matt Dula, I mean, he could be, if he feels he's faster than Ryan Johnson, he could be, letting off just a little bit earlier, trying to keep those Hoosiers nice and cool compared to what Ryan Johnson is. Ryan Johnson is probably pushing into the max, so to speak. And Matt Dula has the option to kind of run behind them. Their teammates. Randy Nichols is their teammate as well. And NSRL after dark. So these guys are going to be working together as they hit some lap traffic of the 04.
Well, and he's getting himself... He's just getting himself out of the way. But the one thing that I would say that Randy Nichols right here, as Dante Curtis has closed it down to 0.2 of a second, it's how good of a teammate am I? And it's officially time to go ahead and try to hold off that 03 for a little bit. Let him keep that gap. But Dante throws one down the inside as we go 3 wide with the lap traffic. Dante has the nose and just can't quite carry the speed around the 69, but that 03, he's going to be relentless, and he's going to find his way back onto the inside of the 69.
I know Dante's probably been driving pretty hard and aggressive trying to get to this point. I mean, don't wear the tires out. Try to be smart about this pass. Don't try to overheat the tires, because once you make this pass, you still have to clear that almost a little over a 1.5 second gap up to Ryan Johnson and Matt Dula, who's running first and second. So you still got to have some good Hoosiers left to make that run.
And he's making a great run out of turn 4, and that's going to get the nose down below. He's going to get a little bit of a slide up through 1, but he is going to be leading going into turns 3 and 4, and he's looking to get the great jump off. He is completely clear of the 69. And right now, Dante Curtis, he's got 2.7 seconds to make up as the 69 is fighting back and trying to cross him over, but it looks like that's not going to be any kind of a threat. And now he's got 2.5 seconds to get himself back up to the front of this pack. And it looks like Ryan Johnson right now may actually be pushing a little bit harder, because he knows most likely he's closing in on that pit window. And if he's going to split this in half, it's time to start thinking about going in. But he pit on lap 23. We're at lap 62 right now. I'm curious where his mind is with this.
I would say most people are probably going to come in around between 80 to 90. That's when I would come in. I think that gives me the happy middle on the balance, as long as I don't overwork the tires. If I'm in the top 5, don't overwork the tires, and that's about where I would want to come in. I think that would give me plenty of room to let the tires fall off here, but be able to capitalize on the back end.
Well, and you have to think, I've had my share of moments racing with this. We had a few quick cautions to start this race. We have had a great run at this point to get ourselves to where we are. Again, knock on the wood. And it looks like he has fantastic speed over Matt Dula at this point in the race, and he has definitely kicked up the aggression to where he went from about 3/10 to closing in on a second over Matt Dula. And Dante Curtis, he's closing the gap a little. He's down to 2.1.
Yeah, I mean, right now, this last lap, he was on a little over half a tenth faster than the race leader, Ryan Johnson. So Dante Curtis is trying. But, I mean, right now, they're only about 5/10, half a second off their fastest laps that they've ran all night. So the tire fall off as of right now isn't that dramatic, so to speak. So, yeah, I would come in probably between 80 to 90. I think that's be a comfortable time to come in and still have a good balance between the first run and the second run.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm going to use Gary Eschen, and unfortunately, he literally just came in. Because of course. But I would use Gary Eschen as the best benchmark that, okay, we're talking about 7/10 of fall off, but how much is that of that is tire temperature versus wear? I would say only about 2/10 of that is actually tire wear. The rest is, we've just had a nice fight, we've had a long run, tires are just...
Now, as we see, Dante Curtis has now caught the back bumper of Matt Dula. Dante Curtis is man on a mission, but let's see if he can get the pass done. He caught him. Can he pass him?
And we'll go back to what we were just talking about. Did Matt Dula, trying to keep himself with Ryan Johnson for as long as he did, as the 03 gets his nose down below the 17, and that was quick work because he's going to be clear coming out of 2. Matt Dula's looking to cross him over. He gets himself down below, but it looks like Dante Curtis is going to have that extra speed coming out of turn 4 and be able to clear and hold on to that position.
Whenever I'm out there driving and somebody passes me over, I feel it's nice to be able to try and do the crossover. It feels good, like, okay, I got him back, and then it hardly ever works out for me, just like that, It's like, okay, I tried. I did something.
At least you tried.
At least I tried.
But these guys are coming up on a little bit of lap traffic, and yellow is out. We catch a little bit of Shane Loveridge getting the spin, and we'll take a quick look because I have a feeling that we're about to see a massive amount of cars coming down pit lane. And yeah, that's that bump coming out of the corner. That it's a doozy.
I mean, the sad part about it, he kept rolling and turned the car, and he never really truly stopped. And iRacing threw a caution for that. But we've seen like pileups happen in iRacing, and there's no caution thrown. So I love iRacing some days.
Yeah, you just gotta figure it's what a programmer thinks is a caution. And we'll go ahead and watch That's the one I want. That's the pit lane I want. All of basically the front half of this race all came in, and right now John Cross is making his way in. It looks like just about everybody's making their way in, and Will Eastman, through what I'm going to assume was fewer tires than everyone else, gets himself out and will be taking over the lead of this race as he crosses the line, followed by Bryan Hacker, Ryan Johnson, Travis Hoffler, and Dante Curtis. Comes out of these pit stops. It looks like he took all four, and I think that was the right move. But while we have a moment, let's go ahead and hear from a few more of the sponsors of the North-South Racing League.
5 Star Realty Group is located on the Emerald Coast in beautiful Panama City, Florida. 5 Star Realty Group has years of experience in residential properties, investment opportunities, vacation rentals, and commercial properties, and looks forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Kelly's Custom Engraving is a locally owned and operated business located in Wellville, North Carolina, specializing in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to like and follow their Facebook page to view all of their amazing products and place your order.
And we are back. The lights on the pace truck are...
They extended the caution.
That is a good idea. Let everybody actually that was getting the wave around actually get around the track. That
We got
means
Will Eastman and Bryan Hacker leading the field. They both only took a right side only. So let's see, what can they do with the right side only? Can it stay in front of Ryan Johnson and have him battle it out, equalize the tires?
I'm still gonna stick with that was the right call from Ryan Johnson, Dante Curtis, Jared Apel. All these guys, right sides can make a huge difference, but not when we're talking having 71 laps left. As the lights on the pace truck are off to where we're going to go green with 70 laps left. And Will Eastman gets himself off early, gets himself completely clear of Bryan Hacker in second place. These guys are going to be going for it, but Ryan Johnson is also completely clear, and now Dante Curtis is trying to get himself down into a solid fourth position. He should be clear coming out of turn 4. And right now, Jared Apel is also completely clear of the 20 of Travis Hoffler, and that is the difference that the two tires are making, as Ryan Johnson is now pressuring Bryan Hacker to get himself up into second
Jared Apel
place.
in the wall right there. Smacked it down. Travis Hoffler is going to jump to the outside of him. There's nothing to do. Jared's able to recover. Now he's about 4 car lengths off of Dante Curtis after that.
But he's going to get caught up pretty quickly because Dante Curtis is being held up by Ryan Johnson, who's got Bryan Hacker with 2 fewer of tires, as we see Dante Curtis getting a little sideways coming out of turn 2. And
I'm going to point out something right quick. This last lap was both Will Eastman and Bryan Hacker's fastest lap of the race.
Sometimes that push that you get from being up at the front of the pack, it makes a massive difference. Plus the clean air can also just pick where you're a little bit faster.
And that was Ryan Johnson's fastest lap this previous lap. Everybody's run their fastest lap. We got Devin Rogers, DJ, Gary Eschen. They all ran their fastest lap this past lap. So the track temperatures are optimal right now.
And also the tires, as we see Dante Curtis and Ryan Johnson. These two are probably just a little bit frustrated with where they're sitting right now, as we see Dante Curtis throwing one down below Ryan Johnson. He slides up the track, but he takes advantage of that extra momentum and keeps his third place. And this is exactly what Will Eastman wants. The farther we get into this run, because we're currently 8 laps in, the more those tires are going to normalize, and the 2 tires are going to look like a much smarter idea.
I mean, Bryan Hacker was able to gain probably about 4 or 5 spots, but Will Eastman was able to really use that strategy to bring him up a lot further than Bryan Hacker was to get him up there. Because I think Will Eastman was in the kind of lower part of the top 10. And those 2 tires got him up front, and as you can see, he's staying there as of the time being, is pulling away just a little bit, about a car length and a half away from Bryan Hacker.
But that has slowly been creeping down. As we look at the blimp here, these top 4 have broken away. Jared Apel has had an issue or 2, but he's holding on solidly to that 5th place position. But what I want to do, once I can actually find it, I'm going to jump on board into the Kelly's Custom Engraving roll bar camera with Dante Curtis, to where we can sit here and see just a little bit of what he's got going through his mind. And Adam, as a racer, tell us what you think is going through his brain right now.
Well, Dante Curtis is sitting in no man's land. He's sitting in 4th. He's got a huge gap behind him. There's no really need to push your tires. You're at lap 93 of 151, so just under 60 laps remaining. Let Ryan Johnson pressure him. You just sit back there and let off just a little bit sooner than them. Keep those Hoosiers nice and cool. And even if, he doesn't make any ground up right now, if there's a caution come out and everybody stays out, he's going to have the coolest tires out there. As we see Bryan Hacker looking to make a little run at the lead. He's not able to do it, but yeah, that's what I would be doing if I'm Dante Curtis.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and jump back in the pack a little bit, because I noticed. And all right, we have another yellow. So, all right, and this is the 72 of Shane Loveridge, and this is one of those beautiful iRacing moments where the second he's off of pit road, it's a stopped car. So we get ourselves a caution, and we're seeing another wave of everyone coming in. And while we do this, we'll hear from a few more of the sponsors for the North-South Racing League.
Track Time Entertainment is located in Texas and builds custom driving simulators with a personal touch. Rigs are fully customizable with color options and utilize 80/20 US extruded aluminum. These rigs offer a wide range of adjustability, as well as different options for wheels, shifters, and keyboards. The possibilities are endless. If you can dream it, Track Time Entertainment can build it for you. RC2 Race Promotions is an iRacing event planning and coordination service. If you have an idea for a special one-off money race but don't have the time to handle all the legwork, RC2RP can help. We offer event conception, planning, day-to-day operations, and race event services to cover all of your needs. We are competitively priced and offer detailed services to make sure you get the most bang for your buck. To inquire, visit us on Facebook.
And we are back, and we have ourselves a new race leader, Mr. John Cross. in the number 10 car, getting the lead a lap. He's going to be followed by Bryan Hacker, Ryan Johnson, Will Eastman, and Gary Eschen are going to round out the top 5.
Yeah, you know, we got John Cross, new name up there for the night. We don't typically see him all the way up front here most Monday nights, but he's got speed every week where he goes. It's just he's not typically in the top 5 every week. But he's going to be restarting up here in first place as of now. He's moved up 17 spots due to this pit strategy.
Well, and part of it is he seemed to be, when bad luck is hitting a driver, it seems like that happens to be John Cross.
I mean, it has to be. I mean, his right side is prestigiously clean, but his left side's beat to hell.
Well,
So that means bad luck here for these guys.
well, 100% to where, well, that didn't actually do what I wanted. But the lights on the pace truck are off, and he's going to have to get that to cross collision to get those hammered out, as the lights on the pace truck are off, and he's going to lead us to green. He's ready to go when he wants, and he is off, and he is going to get himself clear of the 11 of Bryan Hacker, get himself up onto that outside line, get things nice and tidy. He's going to be able to hold on to run the line he wants, but Bryan Hacker is fighting back on the outside, and he looks like he may actually end up holding up Ryan Johnson on that inside line, and that's going to give
With 3
Will...
wides, Matt Cook going sideways.
And we
Jared
have
Apel.
our yellow flag.
3 cars coming off the corner right there.
Oh. This looks... It's the 20, gets into the 15, and Jared Apel's right there, and hey, Gary Eschen came in to straighten him out.
He did a really good job of straightening them out. These cars are like a tank, man. You hit them like a champ right there, and still going.
And honestly, we're right back where we were. Jared Apel, Matt Cook, John Cross all dive into pit lane. And my guess is that 51 is just getting a little bit of extra love. It's looking a little crumpled there, but
I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, John Cross got himself up there with different pit strategies. Now he's going to do it again. If we get another caution next like 10, 15 laps, he'll leapfrog back to the front if the leaders go out and pit again.
I mean, we are under 50 laps to go at this point. I have a feeling that unless it's to fix your car, nobody's coming in. Everybody has pitted on at least lap 95 on the lead lap. So I think we're done on pit stops.
I mean, I would say we're done on pit stops, but I mean, these guys have dove in after like 15 green flag laps and caution comes out. So, you know, anything's possible for these guys to come back in, you know, with 30, 40 laps to go if we have another caution at that point.
Well, and Jared Apel dives into the pits once again, which tells me he's trying to fix as much damage as he possibly can. Definitely didn't get the meatball to where he's done until the repairs are. He's got just enough to where he's trying to make sure that it's running as nicely as it possibly can. But with all of this going on, Bryan Hacker takes over the lead of this race. Will Eastman's going to be starting in second. And Ryan Johnson third. Dustin Shepard is going to be fifth. And Travis Hoffler in sixth. So we are side by side once again. leading us to the green. We've got 46 laps to go. And Bryan Hacker takes off, and that's going to give Dante Curtis an amazing run on the outside. The 11 is completely clear, gets to run his line. Will Eastman's fighting on the inside, but Dante Curtis has a ton of momentum on that outside line. Tags the wall ever so slightly, and that's going to give Will Eastman that opportunity to keep himself there, but Dante Curtis is throwing everything in this car to get as much speed as he can. He's wiggling all over the place, trying to keep himself in the contention for that second place. And he gets around the 13, and now it's time to track down Bryan Hacker. But we're seeing Ryan Johnson back here in the 3, sliding up in front of the 89, keeping on to that 4th position. And everybody's trying to slot themselves in as we see the 20 hit the wall, and hit the wall hard. And that's going to drop him back out of the top 10. We see the 16 get a little bit sideways going through the turn. He manages to hang on ever so slightly, but he is the last car, or the first car off the lead lap, so he's got to try to keep himself in front. But let's get ourselves back up here to the front. The 3 of Ryan Johnson is looking for any way he possibly can to get around Will Eastman in the 13.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a sense of urgency I think is starting to pick up. We're just 1 lap shy of 40 laps away, so 41 laps come across the line, 40 laps away from the finish line here. And Ryan Johnson sees that he needs to get past Will Eastman here. And he's now side by side running with him as he watches Dante Curtis starts to pull away from him as he's running side by side.
And honestly, I would say that that is going to be the biggest desperation, is the longer he waits, the longer that Dante Curtis has to get out in front of him and pull away, to where if he can keep this gap at a reasonable level, right now it's only about 0.6 of a second. And the second he can get himself up onto that top line is right now with him holding up Will Eastman. The 89 of Dustin Shepard is trying to get himself up there, and Justin Rigsby, a car we have not really had an opportunity to talk about tonight, is throwing his name into the ring to get himself up into the top 5. He has his nose down below the 89 of Dustin Shepard, and he's looking strong at the tail end of this race and is getting himself up into that 5th place position.
Yeah, he's working that bottom line very well right now. Dustin Shepard's trying to hang on to that quarter panel, but he's unable to. Slots in right behind him. And Justin Rigsby now is in the top 5 for tonight. Good job, Justin.
And as we look through the field, right now the hard charger of the night is our 03 of Dante Curtis. After qualifying in that pole position, the invert was unfriendly to him, moved him down to 12th. He's up 10 positions into 2nd. And again, as we see every turn, he is doing everything he can to get every ounce of speed he possibly can out of that car. Be it a little bit of a slide coming out of the corner, or just, you know what, right down on that yellow line through the turn.
I mean, this shows to other drivers, though, if we do have another caution, they do come in. 2 tires is a viable option, because look at Bryan Hacker holding these guys off. I mean, he was able to pull away, get a good gap, and now he's able to maintain it to stay in front of Dante Curtis, who's been fast all night long.
Granted, there was a little bit of an equalization. I think all these guys took 2 tires on this last stop. But the one thing is Bryan Hacker took 2 tires on the last stop too.
Yeah, he's still running on those way older left side of tires, but he's able to make it work right now. He's hanging in there top right now in front of all these guys and holding down this lead pretty well.
All right, we're going to make a quick jump back here as I saw a little bit of the background. Gary Eschen, he's getting aggressive himself, trying to get himself down. Get a little bit of a nose underneath the bumper of the 89 of Dustin Shepard. He's looking racy, and it looks like it's more of an inevitability than it is a possibility right now.
Yeah, Gary Eschen is doing all he can. He was leading the race at one point. Now he's falling back just a little bit. He wants to kind of make that leapfrog move in front of Dustin Shepard, trying to get himself back up there.
And he's doing everything he can. It looks like he's trying to show he may make the move. And as we're quickly approaching the last quarter of this race, he's going to need to do it now. Do it while the tires are fresh. Do it while you have the speed. But that 23 is looking like it's seen an incident or two. We saw him give Jared Apel a little bit of the tip on that last one.
I think he went tires deep on that one, man. That was a tough hit.
It definitely was, but I'm going to make the way back up here to the front as there's only a little bit of a gap right now between our leader, Bryan Hacker, and Dante Curtis. And Dante is just closing that gap down. Now he's trying to goad Bryan Hacker into that little bit of a mistake. Staying right on the bumper, making sure that that mirror is filled.
Yeah, I mean, he's just waiting there for any type of slip-ups. We're coming up in front of some lap traffic right there. Josh Ackard right there, new guy, first night out here. He's right now, so we're going to have to see how this lap traffic plays in.
I mean, 100%. That has got to be going through his mind, and we'll actually go from the cockpit view of Bryan Hacker. As we can see that mirror, there's a whole lot of Dante Curtis in that rearview mirror.
I mean, not only Dante, and you also see that Ryan Johnson's closing the gap little by little each lap, so they're going to have to worry about that.
But Dante Curtis trying to take advantage of that lap traffic, not really giving him enough space. Tries to get himself there, and right now Ryan Johnson's going to be the one to do that. And that is unfortunate. Well, unfortunate for Dante Curtis, but fortunate for Bryan Hacker that he wasn't quite capable of getting the move done. So he holds on to the lead of this race for the time being. But Dante Curtis, that gap's not expanding at all right now.
I think Dante Curtis is the closest he's been so far right now. I mean, there is no more bumper in the rear view mirror. He's looking in his eyes.
And there may be a little bit of a tip. There may be a little bit of a move as Dante Curtis is getting the run on that low line, gets himself down below the number 11, and he is going to take advantage. The big thing we're going to see is Dante Curtis has taken over the lead of this race from, as he gets a little bit loose coming out of turn 2. Dante Curtis may be able to hold on, and he has his nose in front, and the caution flag flies. Oh, we'll get back to the commentary on that one, but let's take a look and see what happens here. That's the 51, just a little bit loose out of turn 2, ends up in the wall, and there's caution.
Oh, pit road just got spicy. The entry, late entry by Dante. And Bryan Hacker really had to move out of the way for him.
And honestly, I'm not gonna. I'm speechless. I'm amazed that these guys are coming into the pits right now.
With 19 laps to go.
19 laps to go. Granted.
16.
All right. Dante Curtis is going to be the first man off of pit road. Ryan Johnson right behind him. Bryan Hacker, Dustin Shepard, and Matt Dula. But Dante Curtis comes into the pits. We're going to go green with probably 15 laps to go. Fresh outside tires, because there's no way that they changed all four at 11.62 seconds.
No, I watched them. They all did right side tires, but they're going to have to drive through 5 other people right now stayed out. So it's going to make it challenging. They were running 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they're going to be running 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
And they're at the point of this race that I'm not going to lie. I'm going to question the call. I want to believe that these fresh outsides are going to be significantly faster.
Significantly faster, but you only have probably, looks like maybe 16 laps to go here, and you got to car through this many people. It's going to be challenging. I'm going to throw it out there. It's going to be challenging. Dante's going to be starting on the outside. Ryan Johnson's on the inside, so who knows what's going to happen. But I know that these guys are going to be fast-paced, trying to use any advantage they have on this last little bit of a shootout to get to the front.
All right, as we're going stacking them up side by side, we're going to go green with 15 laps to go. And we've got it out there. Gary Edwards, you did say Eastman last to first. So he's going to lead us to green right now. We're going to have 15 laps to go. It's going to be the shootout between the 2 tires, and Will Eastman wastes 0 time. The second that pace truck clears, he is off, and he has a good 2-car length lead. Gary Eschen is in second place, Justin Rigsby in third, and we are side by side throughout the pack right now. And the problem is going to be with this many guys, are we going to be able to see clean racing with 14 laps to go to let these guys that have these fresh tires get the opportunity? And right now, Dante Curtis and the 20 of Travis Hoffler collect one another, and caution is out. Oh, that may have been me commentating right into that curse. And this is exactly what I feel is the risk you take in this situation. There's the view from Travis Hoffler, and actually let's go ahead and get ourselves onto the roll bar of Dante Curtis. Again, we're at the point of a little bit of desperation. There's Travis Hoffler losing it, going over that bump, coming out of the corner. And this is why I'm going to go for the track position over the fresh tires.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you know, you get yourself back there, and I mean, you're doing everything you can, be the wheelman to try to drive to the front there, and fortunately, other people are as well. They're a little bit older tires, hits that bump, and that bump can unsettle you on clean or old tires. So it's just, you know, hard racing, trying to get everything you can. I know Travis is probably driving out his rearview mirror, seeing where Dante Curtis was going at every step of the stage right there, and driving out his rearview mirror, blocking his moves.
Yeah, and again, he had it in the back of his mind. These guys pitted. So you've got to get yourself, you have to position your car perfectly to make sure that he can't make the pass. But sometimes when you have to focus on too many things, you can't focus on any of them. So here we are right now. We're going to be going green. I do believe we are going to have 9 laps to go once we get ourselves green once again. So it's another 9 laps that these front 3 are all on older tires. Will Eastman pitted on lap 95. And
Justin Rigsby.
there we
95.
go. There we go. That's the best way to do it. Bryan Hacker, who will be starting in 4th, is the highest of everyone that has pitted on that last caution. But Cody Hubert, he's also running those older tires. So we've got a few cars that are going to be a little bit slower. But at the same time, with this few laps, these guys can defend it.
It's going to be a wonderful 8-lap shootout. We're going to see what these guys can do. Will Eastman probably is going to try and get another great jump, and just hopefully this goes green so he can just stay out front and watch everybody battle behind him.
And he doesn't wait once again. He gets that massive jump from the front, and that is going to get him completely clear, be able to run. We're going to see the 23 and the 31 are going to go ahead and go side by side. Bryan Hacker, the freshest tires amongst the group, is going to be stuck on that outside line. The 23 and the 31 are going to be able to run their line. The 31 decides to drop down to the low line. That's going to give Bryan Hacker in that 11 the opportunity, and Ryan Johnson is right there behind him as we see a car get a little bit loose. That is the 89 of Dustin Shepard. But we're staying green. We are down to 6 laps to go. And we're seeing Bryan Hacker, Ryan Johnson, these two, they're the ones trying to make their way up on the fresh rubber. Bryan Hacker is clear and trying to put himself into position to be able to catch up to our top 2. And Ryan Johnson gets himself clear. And now it's just going to be, are there enough laps for these guys to use their new tires to their advantage and get their noses down below these top 2? As
we got 4
Gary
laps to go.
Eschen looked like he was about to try to make
Gary Eschen looks slow. He's trying to block right now. He's dropping down to the low side, going into turn 3, trying to take the lane away from Bryan Hacker. Bryan Hacker moves up. Ryan Johnson tried to stuff that position, was not able to do it, but Bryan Hacker decides to try and go to the outside. Ryan Johnson's going to run to the inside. Looks like Gary Eschen looks like he wants to go to the inside of Will Eastman. So we got a lot of things happening right now up in the front 4.
And he's actually playing the part of the teammate, but he's not the teammate. And I'm not gonna lie, he has put himself in the perfect position, with the exception of the fact that the 11 has much fresher tires. As we come to white, the 11 gives the 23 a little bit of a shove, and he's got that outside line. He's gonna have that opportunity to get that second place, but right now Will Eastman is the car to beat, and on strategy from last to first, Will Eastman takes the win. Bryan Hacker in second, Gary Eschen third.
And that third came at less than 2/100ths of a second.
Oh, that was a finish. But Gary Eschen, that That was the perfect defensive drive.
So I'm listening to the driver's chat, and it looks like Jared Apel will come up here. We'll talk to Jared Apel about the status of everything going on before he disconnects for the night.
All right, we'll go ahead and let's take a quick run through, and we'll actually start there. So I'll run through here while you go ahead and get prepped to bring him up to chat with us.
Resumed.
So in first tonight, Will Eastman. Second, Bryan Hacker. Third, Gary Eschen. Fourth, Ryan Johnson. Fifth, Justin Rigsby. Sixth, Matt Dula. Seventh, Dustin Shepard. Eighth, Devin Rogers. Ninth, Cody Hubrid. 10th, Randy Nichols. 11th, Jared Apel. 12th, Adam Gable. 13th, DJ Waltmeyer. 14th, Jeff Mathis. 15th, Travis Hoffler. 16th, Robbie Clavey. 17th, Matt Cook. 18th, Josh Ackard. And 19th, Dante Curtis. 20th, John Cross. 21st, Jeff Bergener. 22nd, Jordan Madron. And 23rd, Shaden Loveridge.
All right, let's go ahead and pull up Jared Apel before we get the winners. We'll get an update. The
User was moved to your channel.
All right, Mr. Apel, first question I have for you is, how is Cameron doing today?
A little tired today. He had 4 straight days of chemo last week, and then had a bone marrow transplant today. So he's just a little bit wore out, but he hasn't had any adverse reaction to the transfusion. So it's been about as good as I can go.
Well,
I got you, man. I know that's a very tough operation, especially for that young of a kid, and it's great to see that he's recovering, and hopefully everything will kind of go smoothly from here. But yeah, I know exactly how the family must be feeling right now. So hopefully everything will come out and be a very positive, uplifting story.
Yeah, that's all we can hope for is the best, and so far it's heading that direction. Hopefully it just keeps heading that way. So, thank you everyone at the NSRL for putting this together. It was a surprise to me. So yeah, it was a tough race, having to go to the back right away, and then getting in a few crashes didn't help either. And I'll just bring it back next week, but hopefully it'll be a little bit better.
well, it was a tough race, but just while we have you here, let's take the opportunity. What is going to be the best way for anybody that wants to reach out, help Cameron? What's going to be the best way for you and the family for people to get the things that he's looking to get?
All he's really looking for is like hero cards, or if you have a small kid shirt or something, or a hat, because he's gonna lose his hair. And if you can't do any of that, or if you can, if you go to my Facebook page, it has the address for the hospital, and he's been getting a lot of packages. I think my brother's post had over 7,000 some shares, and I bet you he's got almost 100 packages a day so far. It's been pretty outstanding, and it makes his days way easier because he gets to play with new stuff, and it's been pretty awesome. Like last night, Josh Blicky got back from Martinsville, and he gave him his suit signed, so that was pretty cool. And if you can't do that, if you can just donate blood or sign up to be on the donor list, that's all they really want.
All right, I understand, and again, cannot express how much empathy I have for you and your family through the tough times, but any way that we can help to make it easier, spread the message, just let us know, and we're here to do what we can.
Well, thank you. I know he really enjoys watching the races, so he was a little bummed the last 2 weeks that I wasn't able to race, but he understands. So, we'll see you guys next week.
All right, take care, sir.
Thank you.
User left your channel.
All right, after that little bit, let's go ahead and get our winner
was moved
of
to your
the
channel.
evening, Mr. Will Eastman. How are you doing after that one?
I'm doing awesome, man. This is great.
So, real quick, did you think staying out was the right call? I know you had to do something completely opposite of what the rest of the pack was doing. You had to do something completely different. Did you think the outcome was going to be like that?
Actually, the top four there, we were running away. We were pretty close, and I didn't think that they were going to come in. I was actually getting ready to just fake it and try to get some people down, and all of a sudden they turned down. I said, "Well, I'm staying out here." I mean, there was only 15 to go, or whatever it was, and I'm like, "This will be the best chance. If I fade back a little bit, it'll be where I was running," and it worked out.
No, it was the perfect call. If you go back and watch, I would have done the exact same thing as you, because for me, these tracks, they're a pain to pass people. And even if your general speed is 0.2 faster, you still got to get around them.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that first caution there. I thought maybe we'll be able to run away, but the tires were a lot worse than I thought there, and I think that caution actually helped. Gary was able to hold them off on the older tires too, and one more lap though, Bryan definitely would have got me. So perfect timing.
No.
Yeah, man. You did a fantastic job. I mean, you raced to the front. There's a lot of different pit strategy going on throughout the night. You were able to capitalize. I mean, you got the EOL from winning last week and been able to drive to the front. You got Gary Edwards out there cheering for you, and he called it from the get-go, said from the back to the front.
That's my car owner in real life there. So he watches the broadcast with you guys and likes to broadcast every week. So
I mean, having fans in any way, shape, or form is always nice, especially when the boss man likes you.
that's right.
No, it was a great run from you tonight. I cannot fathom just the patience it took to get there and the willpower to be able to just say, no, I'm not pitting. I don't care what anybody else is doing, but it was the perfect call, and it gets you the W 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I've been so close for a couple of years here, and get one, and now get this one back to back. I still can't believe it.
Right, man. Well, hey, congratulations, man. Back-to-back wins set you up for a great finish to the season.
Thank you guys very much.
All right, take care, go off, and enjoy the win.
I will do. Thank you.
All right.
User was moved out of your channel.
All right. It's time to
User was
get
moved to your
another
channel.
week of getting to chat with Mr. Bryan Hacker. So do you think you only needed 1 or 2 more laps to be able to take the win tonight?
Oh, but give me through turn 2. I think we would have had it. I mean, we were on fresh tires, and I was able to make 1 and 2 work pretty well on the high side. If the finish line was on the other side of the track, I think we might have pulled it out, but just ran out of time.
No, tonight was one of those absolutely brilliant runs. The invert did not help you in any way, shape, or form, but it didn't seem like you were going to be anywhere away from the front of the pack at any point tonight.
I like this track. It's always treated me well. It's fun. Takes a little bit of strategy, especially when we go 151 laps. So, uh, I enjoy coming here. I wish we ran these types of tracks all season long, because I think we'd maybe be in the points a little bit more than we are.
Yeah, man. I mean, you've been doing a fantastic job capitalizing, kind of eating away at the points here and there. Still a little bit of a gap there between you and the second place, but I mean, you're there every week trying to make it happen in case something catastrophic happens, and trying to catch up to these guys.
Yeah, I don't think we got a shot at the title, but I think Dante and Ryan have kind of set themselves apart, this season. So I'm, I guess, happy to be best of the rest right now.
I mean, being in the conversation for a trophy, well, a podium position, if you will, at the end of the year, it's always a worthy endeavor, and just to be referenced in the same conversation as some of these guys, I'm pretty sure you were the first back-to-back winner we've had this year. I have to confirm
no.
that very quickly.
Yep, I can confirm that's not the case because I haven't won yet this season. So,
nope. Dante did it in the first 2 weeks, but no one else has done it.
well, Will just did it. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He won. He won last week, and we finished second. So we've got a little bit of a pattern going. We just got to switch it up.
We need a little bit of an invert happening.
Yeah, well, it happens. But all right, so next week we're off to Phoenix. A little bit bigger of a track, whole lot different of a track. How are you feeling going into it?
I don't know. I don't think I've run these cars there. So if the draft is in effect, which it probably will be, I could take it or leave it. I'm kind of indifferent when it comes to that stuff. If you can separate yourselves a little bit and maybe break the draft and get away from somebody if you're quicker, then it might actually be pretty fun. So it'll all depend on how much the draft plays a factor, because when these cars race like super speedways on a 1 mile, it's some people love it, some people don't like it. I'm kind of right in the middle. I can take it or leave it. It's not my cup of tea, but at the same time, I don't hate it. There's worse things I could be doing.
Yeah, well, at least I had to correct. I was about to say 3 and 4 is flat, but no, it's 1 and 2 now. I can never remember that anymore. But with those being as flat as they are, it should be a little less super speedway, at least through the first half of the lap. God, the fact that they reorganized that still, it's going to take me like 5 years before it really clicks in my head.
Just wait till we go 17 wide through the dog leg there. It'll be exciting for you guys.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it because I love being the one to take it 17 wide through the dog leg.
So it says we're racing the 2008 version, I guess.
Oh.
Well, I'll still take it through the dog leg.
I think a lot of people are going to unintentionally take it through the dog leg.
Good chance of it. I might be one of them. We'll see.
All right, it was a great run from you tonight. Hopefully we'll get to chat with you a little bit come next week, but we'll have to wait and see how Phoenix runs for these cars.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. I think we've only got maybe 3 of these things left, 2. I can't remember how many there are. So we're winding the season down. Ryan may have set himself apart tonight with his 4th place finish in the unfortunate incident that took Dante out. So we'll see. Maybe I've got a shot for second now if Dante can wreck a couple more times.
Don't ever wish that on anyone out loud.
Well, it's Dante. We all get along pretty fine. Ryan and I, even though I about put him in the fence last week, I think we're all good now.
Gotcha, man. Hey, well, congratulations for a second place, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks. Real quick before I get out of here, I know tonight was all about Cameron Apel up in Wisconsin, part of the Apel family. Right across the border in Illinois. Watched Steve race a number of times at Rockford and Slinger and all that, and hopefully everything's going well. Our thoughts are with them. That's really what tonight's all about. So I know we do this for fun, and I think he enjoys watching us. So hopefully we put on a good show, and speedy recovery to him. We're really hoping he's back up to speed here quickly.
Well, I know it's much appreciated, and all of our hearts and thoughts are in the same place.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, take care.
User was moved out of your channel.
Onward
was
to
moved to your
Mr.
channel.
Gary Eschen. A third place finish tonight, and a whole lot of spots made up through the process.
Yeah, that first caution came out, and I took a gamble, and I think I might have been the only dumb one that did. And 20 laps into that next run, I started falling back, and finally I had to pit under green, and I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to make the time back up, but luckily we were able to there at the end.
We noticed that pit stop came, and all right, may have thought you were a bit insane, but it works out in the end.
Yeah, I ended up going down a couple laps, but luckily a couple cautions came out, and we were able to get back onto the lead lap. And with pitting under green like that and nobody else is really doing it, I ended up having enough fuel where I never had to worry about it again for the rest of the race. So if I could keep it out front, I was hoping for a podium.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, luckily these things are built like a tank, because I mean, you gave them a heck of a shot there, and kept on ticking and brought it right back to the front.
Yeah, there's a couple incidents, but when I pitted, it was like 16 seconds of repair time, so I didn't even ever get that all fully repaired. But clearly, I guess I didn't need to.
I mean, like Adam said, these things are tanks, and just you got lucky you didn't do any engine or radiator damage, so it was just a matter of, you know what, keep it pointed and get it to the front and walk away with the podium.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this new update this week did something, but these tires normally they don't fall off like this. And I mean, so when everybody pitted, I'm like, I don't have no reason to. Like, I'm still running very consistent laps, and next thing you know, the tires were just junk.
I'm curious because we did notice that it didn't seem to fall off that much. I'm wondering if they became more temperature sensitive rather than wear sensitive, because we saw a lot of people, same number of laps, just somebody may have spent 3 laps on the low line rather than running the top line, and suddenly there was a massive disparity between the two.
Yeah, you had to be really easy on the throttle, especially coming off of 2 with the bumps there. But to be fast, you really had to hold it down over those bumps. And if you upset the tires, you were basically screwed for a good 10 laps. You couldn't push it at all.
Yeah, I mean, you had your ups and downs throughout the night. You got up to the front, got hung out on the outside, and really dropped back right there. I think just a lot of overworking the tires, trying to stay out there and battle, just kind of heated the tires, put you to the back, couple wrecks. But I mean, with a really great pit strategy at the end, you're able to come out and home for a third, man. That's a great night for you.
Yeah, I can't really complain there. I was surprised to be on the podium, but then again, if I didn't make the mistake earlier, it could have been better.
Well, still, getting yourself up into third, it's always a great way to get yourself a good points finish, moving up a little bit in the standings, and
Get to hang out with us.
yeah, you get to chat with us, because
Absolutely.
better than a little bit of media time.
Yep, and hopefully, the Apel family, hopefully they got to watch this, and we're all hoping and praying and wishing for a speedy recovery there.
Yeah, that is the consensus of the evening, but great run from you tonight. We'll let you get back to... Okay, apparently no one else is here anymore. But have yourself a good evening, sir.
All right. And shout out to all the crazy guys at Crazy Times, one of my sponsors here. They're all up there watching they were up there watching the race all night. So afterwards, you know, they were giving me a little shit here and there, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's why no one watches mine, because I won't let them.
Hey, I wouldn't mind having a couple beers and watching my buddies race here and there.
Well, I'll give you that one, but
Yeah.
I just drink while I race.
I can't do that.
Yeah, we won't talk about my Martinsville experience last night.
Yes, don't do that. But hey, man, you ain't go enjoy your night. We'll catch you out on the track next week at Phoenix.
Alrighty, sounds good. Take it easy, guys.
All right, see ya.
User was moved out of your channel.
That is going to do it for us tonight at Ghostfire Media. Make sure catch us on Wednesdays for Randy and Nick for the Sim 500 Trucks series. And just one last reminder for everybody out there in internet land. If you are looking to do anything for the Apel family, reach out to us at Ghostfire Media, the North-South Racing League Facebook page, or reach out to Jared Apel directly on Facebook to get an address that you can send anything. Again, they're looking for hats, racing memorabilia, t-shirts, anything to help Cameron get through this rough time. So, again, reach out. Everybody's wanting to do what we can to help. So, just whatever can be done, it would be greatly appreciated. But for us at Ghostfire Media, that's going to do it. I'm Josh Laston. That's Adam Wood. Have yourself a good night.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.